that Chinese scientists have been able to train their AI system to be able to recognize an unidentified cancer cell and tell you what it is with an 88% chance of success on the first guess and 99% chance of success in the first three guesses of what that cancer cell is. Currently, globally, 5% of the people that get diagnosed with cancer have what's called unidentified cancer. They can't, especially if it's stage 3 and stage 4, they can't identify the cancer. And we've actually known people in the Philippines where they have a hard time diagnosing which particular cancer they actually have. And so with this new tool being developed by the Chinese of all people, yeah, I see a big turnaround in that. This past year, there have been 12 new cures for cancer using AI tools, actual cures, not Band-Aids, but actual cures. So a lot of positive news coming down the pipe with the use of AI. Now with fenbendazole, I haven't heard anything negative on that one yet, but apparently there's some, I don't know what's going on here, because now you've got the CDC admitting ivermectin works, but now we've got some other sites that are trying to say that there might be problems with ivermectin. I'm like, okay, and these are sites that you would think would support it. So I'm not sure what's really going on here unless they've created a new type of ivermectin and no one knows, and this new ivermectin has got something added to it. So it's no longer, it'll end up causing something else to happen further down the line. Yeah, there's something odd about the particular strain that I have. I'm not sure if it's the medication, the cocktail that I was on, or the changing cocktail, or if it was the type of cancer I had. It seems to outcompete anything else that tries to take root in my body. And so there's a possibility it may have outperformed the CV virus and kept CV from taking root in my body. This guy, God forgive me, is an asshole. This guy is a terrorist. He's been responsible for the deaths of many people in the Philippines. I just discovered that one of my so-called friends that I met up in Austin practically worships this guy. Kind of disturbing. I knew the guy was from Mindanao, Philippines. It was a Muslim-controlled territory, but there are a large number of Christians down there. I made the mistaken assumption that he came from that part of the world to get away from that part of the world, come to America, start a better life. And in fact, it turned out to be something a little bit different. So I'm fairly certain after he posted this image on his Facebook page that he's probably now being watched by the government because of what this guy represents. But why am I really showing you this? Because we're about to have a problem with Muslims around our nation very soon. The rioting across the nation has already started, even though the Israelis have not even attacked yet. And the way the indicators were going last night, I thought for sure they were going to strike, which wouldn't have been cool because my wife just took off out of Qatar not too long ago, but she's out of the area now. So be advised that sooner than later, and probably if the Israelis launch a major attack on Iran that cannot be covered up by the Iranians or anybody else for that matter, you can be assured that the United States will be struck. The permission was already given for them to strike. The emphasis for them to strike, or they will end up losing funding, and whatever support they had been getting or cover they had been getting from the Iranian government is going to be released or blocked, either whatever way you want to look at it, if they don't start acting up, especially if Iran gets struck by the Americans or the Israelis. So be aware of that. I've been assured, again, there will be attacks. Am I expecting the San Antonio area to have to deal with it? No. Other places? Probably. Especially your East and West Coast, and especially up in the Minnesota area, where you've got a heavy Islamic population. What is that, Minneapolis? But yeah, if you've got a town with a huge Islamic presence, they're going to have problems. That said, that starts getting us in the direction of we'll just call them prophetic events that I've warned you guys about in the past. Does anybody need a rundown on those prophetic events, or are we all good? I was advised that the water event is coming. A clue that the water event is coming as to what happened in the Middle East. Earlier this week, I put a post, comments, or maybe it was last week, I think. I put a comment that on Tannhauser or Snark that we were going to be talking about flooding this week. And we did have some major flooding take place in the Middle East. The airport in, I believe it was Dubai, was completely underwater. And that was not the only location that was completely underwater. The flooding was going halfway up the landing gear of the aircraft. So whatever was going on was pretty significant. They did not know that weather was coming until the last minute. The warning I got on top of that was, if we see things pop up on the radar out of nowhere, don't be shocked if it starts storming and nobody predicted it was coming. We should be seeing more of that in the United States as it gets warmer and our atmosphere is able to hold more water and then allow it to coalesce into a major storm quickly. We're also reaching the point, and there was a lot of emphasis on this one, that we are getting close to the stone steps type scenarios. And if you see what's happening, and it hit me really hard yesterday when I saw a number of articles coming across on both sides. I get fed information by both the liberals and by the Republicans, the conservatives, of their different points of view and what they see happening. And that was followed up later on with some messaging indicating that we're looking at, in the near term, 13 major political figures are going to get rolled over on. 13 major political figures in both parties are going to get rolled out and exposed for what they are. That is going to continue leading the direction into the breakup of the union. There are companies that have already been contracted that will help with building the security infrastructure between states and regions when that takes place. They've already been contracted, ready to go. They're just waiting for the call, because if they start doing this, they get paid. You already know how some of these companies operate behind the scenes. When you see the bugs take flight, the water will be coming right after. That is a very specific warning I've gotten twice this week and once last week. So I think we're getting close to that scenario. That's probably going to be taking place this summer, the way the emphasis is coming. As far as the glaciers in the Antarctica, the one glacier, I believe it's Thwaites, whatever was holding it up is just about gone. That shelf may have already dropped into the ocean anyway. I'm not getting enough information for me to confirm and say that for sure. If part of that glacier has dropped in, we could be seeing some interesting effects. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with what we may have seen regarding the imagery that we had pulled off of the coast of Africa or north of Antarctica last week, if there was any kind of correlation with that. But I was told we should be expecting a multi-continent temporary rise in sea level of about 40 feet, like a big wave, anytime. But we just have to wait and see what happens.
Hey everyone, it's Robert with Patriot Gear LLC, Texas. If you're concerned like me with the possibility of an electromagnetic pulse, a coronal mass ejection, or just plain lightning protection, you should probably consider buying an EMP shield unit. EMP Shield has the world's only tested and approved EMP technology that protects the entire electrical system. It's built to exceed military standards, and it reacts in less than 500 trillionths of a second. Each unit has a 10-year limited warranty, plus it comes with a $25,000 insurance policy. If you'd like to save $50 off each unit, use our coupon, Patriot Gear TX. You can combine our coupon with sales and other offers, such as free shipping. If you buy a unit, it supports our efforts to bring you more content and more information to keep you up to date. Thanks again.
So something else odd that popped up with the political civil war that's taking place. Make no mistake, we are in a civil war politically. It hasn't gone any further than that yet, thank God, but it's only a matter of time. This advertisement came up on my Facebook page. They assume, for some reason, they assume I'm a Democrat and a Republican at the same time. I guess I've done a really good job of keeping them confused. So I got this advertisement to buy products for the Biden campaign. And in this case, it was a coffee cup that when you pour hot water in the coffee cup, his eyes turn glowing red. Who in their right mind would make their candidate turn into something with demon red eyes? What are they thinking? But there it is. Now, this is the Republican side, and it's Trader Joe, based on Trader Joe, if you understand that food chain, that supermarket chain. So this is the actual web page for the Biden Victory Fund web store. What I found interesting was on the other photo, they basically had a statement saying to expect changes up to the election. So it sounds like they're already planning to pull some hijinks like they did the last election. This is the cancer article about the new algorithm developed by the Chinese team working with their AI system. And that is a breast cancer cell. And they were able to manipulate it to grow up through a matrix scaffolding. Earthquakes. The US was busy yet again today. We're going to back this to, that's 4.5 and above and 2.5 and above. Obviously, one south of San Antonio in the same area we've been concerned about. And the other one going through the Midland Odessa region. Again, that's the area going through Dallas up in Oklahoma that it's going to be on fire. If you know anybody living along that region, they're going to want to go backpacked, because once this thing starts, it's coming from above and below. I did get an update on the meteor issue, and they are expecting a very high potential for the first event for meteors, one of the first events to come through this year, maybe later in the summertime. Not getting a definitive date on that yet. Again, the government has already basically said to anybody at the top that they will not give a warning when these things come. Right now, they're trying to push the messaging that they can only see. I don't believe they're being honest about this, but they're claiming now that the only thing they can see publicly is about the size. If you hold your thumb up to the sky, they said that's how much of the sky that they space that they can track around their planet for as far as meteor content. Back out globally. Interestingly enough, we're starting to see more coming out of China, at least this part of China. My guess is those are not Chinese instruments, but somebody else's instruments that are in the area, helping them triangulate what's going on. Decent size 5 there. Looks like another 5 in Mexico, 5 in Turkey. Space weather. Not much as far as meteors here. We're going to go down to the chart. Back on the 15th, we had a very close shave, and we had another close shave on the 16th. I was getting a lot of indicators that it looked like Israel was going to strike last night. It didn't take place. I know a lot of the Israelis want to do a just full up, blow the crap out of Iran scenario. There is something that was said this morning that makes me feel like that maybe they're re-looking at potentially making a very quiet but devastating attack on Iran that gives Iran the deniability that they would need in order to save face and pretend that nothing actually happened. If they do something big that the Iranians cannot hide in public opinion, in the court of public opinion, they are going to lash out, and you can guarantee 100% we are going to get attacked, not just Israel. We will get attacked, no doubts about it.
Comment real quick about NASA and the agencies actually being able to spot stuff. There are so many independent watchers out there that find more stuff than the agencies actually do, including NASA. So they can't, and they turn that data over. So they can't actually say that, no, we can only see this. That's a crock of crap. So we all know that.
Now, how could NASA and our military be doing their job if all they could see was a thumbprint and all these private observers can find more than them?
Exactly.
And there's too many things that are being said that when I run the math and I look at the areas of the solar system that they're talking about, there is no way that we do not have a robust satellite sentinel system out in space observing every quadrant of space in our solar system. All I know is that out of the events that are planned, that are supposed to be taking place, one of them is going to be equivalent to, if not greater than, that referenced event. The BC, the people pushing up daisies, is going to be a lot higher. When it comes to timelines, the only additional information was, the question was asked, how are we going to be looking by 2027? And the responses were, we're not even worried about 2027. We're scared shitless for 2024 and 2025, especially because the body counts are going to be a lot higher in 2025. They already know where to strike. They're just waiting, which is odd because I know they've already been given the go-ahead. So maybe they've already picked a certain date or a particular preceding event before they actually launch. These folks have been with us for a long time. They've had plenty of time to analyze how things work. A lot of them are actually in some sort of critical position. And in fact, something else I just got late last night is an individual in a high-level position in DC. One of his transmissions in a device of some kind was intercepted, or he was caught, overheard, and he spoke a dialect of Russian that nobody is supposed to know unless you've been trained at a very special school. That set off a bunch of alarm bells in the intelligence community. So this person is probably either being watched closely or being rolled up. Like any time now, or he's already been rolled up. They just haven't announced it yet. And this is somebody who apparently is in a high position in our government and had a lot of people freak out when it took place. If he's not disappeared already, it's only because they're watching to see who he's talking to. And I understand there is a scramble to look at all of his communications in every venue. This is a hint for you guys, going all the way back to the 80s.
Well, this upcoming week is a Passover, so I would not be surprised if there's some increase of activity.
Robert wants to know about the about the news reporting. I guess I'm guessing, is it mainstream media, Brandon, that are reporting 500,000 new Texas voters?
I mean, yeah, you've already got the Biden campaign or one of their headquarters admitting that something is going to take place. It says right on the coffee cup advertisement to expect something. So, yeah. So if there's a rumor out there that about 500,000 new voters, that would presumably change the numbers. Yeah, that's a pretty clear message that they've got some hijinks planned.